Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take stuff from, well, your reading list, things you're digging into, and we pull out the key insights.
Yeah, the goal is to get you informed quickly, enjoyably, without that feeling of drowning in text.
Exactly. So this time, you pointed us towards a classic, a small book, but wow, a big reputation, James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. We're using the Project Gutenberg version, which is great, freely available.
It really is. And don't let the slimness fool you. It's packed, absolutely packed, with ideas that have really influenced how people think about, well, themselves and their lives for, gosh, over 100 years now.
Right. So our mission for you listening today, we want to cut through maybe some of the slightly older language, get right to the core stuff, the actionable principles.
You should walk away with a clear sense of its power, those sort of aha moments, but, without feeling like you just sat through a dense lecture.
Okay, so where do we even start unpacking this one? It feels foundational.
It really is. And the whole philosophy, pretty much everything in As a Man Thinketh, it really hangs on this one core idea. It's in the title, essentially. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Okay, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Sounds almost simple.
On the surface, maybe, but Allen argues this is, profoundly deep. It defines the entirety of who someone is, their being, their character, even their life circumstances.
Yeah.
Everything.
So you literally are what you think, the sum total. And he's not just talking about the thoughts we know we're thinking, right? It's deeper, like the subconscious stuff, too.
Exactly. It's the deliberate thoughts, but also those ones that just seem to pop up. He uses this great analogy, the seed and the plant.
Ah, the seed and the plant. Yeah, I remember that. It's like,
Well, think about it. An acorn always grows into an oak, never anything else.
okay.
Right? The potential is already locked inside. Allen says it's the same with our thoughts. Every action, every outcome, it springs from a hidden thought seed.
You can't sow thistle seeds and expect roses?
Precisely. You just can't. And the harvest you get, the fruit of those thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, Allen is very direct about this.
He doesn't pull punches, does he? He says, our joys, our sufferings, the good stuff and the bad stuff. It's all fruit from our own minds.
Yeah, he calls it the sweet and bitter fruitage of his own husbandry. Husbandry, like farming. It puts the responsibility squarely on us. It's not luck. It's not fate. It's your inner gardening.
Your own cultivation.
Oh.
Wow. And there's that bit of poetry he includes, too, isn't there?
Yes. Thought in the mind hath made us. What we are, by thought, was wrought and built. It's this idea that our minds are constantly building us, shaping us, like every thought is a brick in the structure.
And character itself, it's not random. It's not just how you were born. He says it's built consistently by the kind of thoughts you keep thinking.
Yeah.
Right thoughts or wrong thoughts.
Right. He uses that really strong image, the armory of thought, like a mental workshop.
An armory is. Oh, what does he mean by that exactly?
It implies choice, doesn't it? In that armory, you can forge weapons that destroy you, negative beliefs, self-sabotage, or you can build tools to create what he calls heavenly mansions.
Heavenly mansions. So like inner peace, fulfillment.
Exactly. A state of well-being. And the key is the power to choose which tools you make. It's yours.
That's the really empowering part for me. Even with all this weight, he says you are the master. Master of thought, molder of character, shaper of condition, environment, destiny. I mean, that's huge.
It is huge. And maybe a little intimidating, but Allen adds a nuance. Even when we feel weak or out of control, he'd say we're still the master. Just maybe a foolish master.
A foolish master,
Meaning someone who hasn't learned to manage their own inner kingdom yet. The shift happens when you start looking inward, right? Understanding these laws of thought that are always operating.
moving from just reacting to things to consciously creating.
Precisely. And that takes self-analysis, looking honestly at our thoughts, our experiences, learning from them. It's active work.
So for everyone listening who wants that quick, solid understanding, this is step one. Really grasping that your thoughts are the architects. That's the foundation of Allen's whole message.
Absolutely. Understanding that power is the crucial first insight.
Okay, so insight one. Our thoughts are incredibly powerful, shaping us and our lives. Got it. But how do we actually do something with that? How do we manage these thoughts?
That leads perfectly into the second major insight. And he uses another really vivid analogy here. The mind as a garden.
The mind garden. Okay, I like that. It feels manageable.
It does, doesn't it? The idea is your mind is never just empty. It's always growing something, like a plot of land. If you don't deliberately plant useful seeds,
then weeds just take over naturally.
right, those useless weed seeds he talks about. It's happening whether we pay attention or not, isn't it?
It is,
Oh, yeah.
constantly. And those useful seeds for Allen are the positive constructive thoughts. purposeful thoughts, the weeds. They're the negative stuff, the doubt, the fear, the useless worry. The things that choke out the good stuff if we let them. So we have to be gardeners.
He calls us the master gardener of his soul. It's an active role. Weeding, planting, cultivating.
I really like that framing. It gives you agency. You're not just watching your thoughts go by. You're tending the garden, pulling the weeds, like those nagging negative thoughts.
And this inner work, this gardening, it has a direct impact on the outside world, on our circumstances. Alan puts it very clearly. Thought and character are one.
Okay.
And as character can only manifest and discover itself through environment and circumstance, the outer conditions of a person's life will always be found to be harmoniously related to his inner state.
Whoa. So outer conditions are related to the inner state. But hang on, does that mean if someone's having a rough time, it's like all their fault? That seems a bit harsh. Life's complicated.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
And Alan does clarify. He's not saying your current situation is a perfect mirror of your whole character right now.
Okay, good.
It's more that your circumstances are connected to some vital thought element within you right now, something that's relevant for your growth at this particular moment, even if you don't consciously get it.
So there's a connection, a reason, even if it's subtle or hidden, not just random bad luck.
He argues strongly against chance. No chance involved. It's all governed by an unerring law, cause and effect, but operating in the realm of thought. Thoughts are causes. Circumstances are effects.
And when we learn the lesson, the circumstance is there to teach us.
Then the circumstance tends to change. We shift from being like tossed around by outside conditions to becoming a creative power. We start managing the inner soil and seeds more effectively.
So taking control of the garden leads to a better harvest, essentially. Like if someone really works on self-control, cleans up their thinking.
Alan says they will inevitably see their outer life improve too. It's about that conscious tending.
He also talks about the soul attracting things, like a magnet, both good and bad.
Yes, attracting what it secretly harbors, what it loves, but also what it fears. Our aspirations pull us up. Our unchecked desires can drag us down, and our circumstances are kind of the arena where this plays out.
And the outcome is tied directly to the seeds, right? Good thoughts, good fruit, bad thoughts.
Bad fruit. It's unavoidable, he argues, as certain as gravity.
Okay. Now, thinking about different perspectives, you can't always tell someone's inner state just by looking at their life, can you? Someone struggling might be incredibly noble inside.
Absolutely. And Alan acknowledges that complexity. You can't accurately judge someone's soul condition just from the outside. Someone might look successful but be miserable inside, or vice versa. Appearances can be deceiving.
True, but the core principle still holds, you're saying. Over the long haul, good thoughts and actions can't lead to truly bad results, and bad thoughts can't lead to truly good ones.
That's the essence of it, yes, in
Okay.
both the inner world and the outer world. And suffering, from Alan's perspective, isn't punishment. It's a sign
A sign of what?
of disharmony. Wrong thought somewhere. Its purpose isn't to punish, but to purify, to push us to correct the inner imbalance.
So real wealth isn't money or stuff, it's inner harmony. Blessedness, he calls it. And the opposite, wretchedness, is inner chaos.
Exactly. Which leads straight back to taking responsibility. Stop blaming circumstances. Stop blaming other people. Start using circumstances
Using them how?
as feedback, as guides. Adapt your mind. Find that hidden justice he talks about, the underlying law, and align with it.
And when you change the thoughts, the outer conditions eventually have to change too.
Yes, because thoughts crystallize,
Yep.
first into habits, then those habits solidify into circumstances.
Right.
Give examples, right? Fearful thoughts attracting failure, beautiful thoughts creating a more genial environment.
It's a chain reaction, thought, habit, circumstance.
Precisely. So maybe you can't directly pick your circumstances all the time, but you absolutely can pick your thoughts.
Right.
And by doing that, you indirectly but powerfully shape everything else.
You become the conscious gardener.
Okay, that makes sense. So we have the power of thought, the need to cultivate it like a garden. But where does direction come in? Just having positive thoughts isn't enough, is it?
No, and that's the perfect lead-in to the third major insight, the power of purpose and vision. This is where intention comes in.
Attention. Okay.
Alan says very clearly, until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. Just drifting, aimlessness. He sees that as a vice. It leads to scattered results, negative outcomes.
Like a ship without a rudder, just drifting.
Yeah,
You need a destination, a purpose.
exactly. Whether that purpose is, spiritual or something very practical and worldly, it doesn't matter as much as having a purpose. It focuses the mind.
It gives your thoughts something to rally around.
Right. He calls it the royal road to self-control and true concentration. And get this, even if you keep failing to achieve that purpose.
Yeah. What then? He says the struggle itself builds strength of character, and that strength is a real measure of success. It becomes the foundation for actually succeeding later. Failure isn't the end, it's part of the strengthening process.
That's a really valuable perspective. Failure as a stepping stone, building resilience. Okay, but what if someone feels lost? Like they don't have a big, grand purpose right now.
Alan has advice for that too. He suggests focusing meticulously on the task at hand, the faultless performance of their duty, whatever that duty is right now, even small things.
Just do the immediate task well.
Yeah, it builds focus. It develops that mental muscle, that energy, which you can then apply to bigger goals when they become clearer. It's practice.
It's like training. And he also implies weakness isn't fixed, right? We can overcome it.
Definitely. Through effort, through practice, specifically practice in right thinking, weakness can be strengthened like any muscle.
Okay, so you have a purpose. How do you pursue it effectively with your thoughts?
You need a mental map. Visualize the path clearly, he says. And crucially, you have to actively push out doubt and fear.
Why are doubt and fear so bad?
He calls them disintegrating elements. They break down your resolve, your path, your energy. They lead straight to failure because they attack the very core of belief.
Because belief is key.
Yes. The will to do springs from the knowledge that we can do. Doubt and fear are the enemies of that knowledge. They whisper, you can't.
Gotcha. So fearlessly focusing your thoughts on the goal, it actually becomes creative.
It becomes a creative force, yes. You stop being just a bundle of random thoughts and feelings, and you become an intentional creator, aligned with your purpose.
And this links to visions and ideals. He talks a lot about those.
Hugely important. He has that amazing line, the dreamers are the saviors of the world.
The dreamers, saviors, that's bold.
It is. He means those who hold on to inspiring visions, lofty ideals. They're the ones who lift humanity up, who show the way forward. Think of.
Like Columbus, Copernicus, Buddha, people who saw something others didn't.
Exactly. Those historical figures who held on to a vision against all odds and literally changed the world. Their inner conviction reshaped reality.
So the message for us is cherish our visions, even if they seem small or far-fetched right now.
Absolutely. Cherish them, nurture them, because out of them will grow all delightful conditions. Those visions are the seeds of a better future.
Desire leads to obtaining, aspiration leads to achieving. It's like ask and receive, but on a mental level.
Very much so. He says, your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. Powerful stuff.
It really is. Like the acorn holds the oak, the egg holds the bird. Our dreams hold our future realities. They're seedlings of realities.
And even if your current life feels wrong or limiting, Alan says those circumstances can't hold you back forever if you keep striving toward your ideal.
Because inner change must lead to outer change.
That's his conviction. You cannot travel within, stand still without. Inner progress demands outer manifestation eventually.
He tells that story, doesn't he? About the young man in the awful workshop.
Yes. Who held this vision of a better life, pure and focused, and despite the grim surroundings, he eventually rose up, became influential, changed his entire reality through the power of that inner vision. As a great illustration.
So it applies to everyone. You listening now, you'll realize the vision you hold in your heart, whether it's, well, base or beautiful.
Yeah.
You gravitate towards what you secretly love.
It comes back again and again to personal responsibility. Into your hands will be placed the exact result of your own thoughts. You will receive that which you earn, no more, no less. Direct link. Inner cause, outer effect.
Wow. So where you are now isn't the limit. You'll fall, stay put, or rise based on your thoughts, your vision, your ideal.
You can be given small as your controlling desire or as great as your dominant aspiration. In that Stanton Cookham Davis quote he ends with, about inspiration letting us pass through gates we thought were barriers.
Yeah.
It just sums up that potential perfectly.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. The core message from James Allen's As a Man Thinketh, for you listening, it's really that your thoughts aren't just random noise. They are fundamental. They build your character. They shape your life.
And you have the power right now to cultivate positive change by choosing your thoughts, tending that inner garden, and finally having a clear purpose, a vision, something to aim for that's absolutely vital for actually achieving anything meaningful.
So we really encourage you to take a moment, maybe after this, and just reflect. What's growing in your mind garden right now? What seeds are you planting day in, day out?
Are they seeds of growth, positivity, strength? Or are there some weeds, doubt, fear, negativity that maybe need a bit of attention, a bit of pulling?
And here's that final thought to chew on, something to really consider. Given how deeply our inner world shapes our outer reality, our looking glass, as Alan might put it, what's the one single thought, the one specific seed that you will choose to consciously cultivate starting today?
Knowing the potential impact it could have, what's that one thought you'll intentionally nurture?
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We hope exploring James Allen's work has given you some valuable insights to work with.
Until next time, keep those thoughts purposeful, keep tending that garden, and keep moving towards your vision.